Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to Alien Addict on this fine look, and it certainly is luxurious because I've not planned ahead, and I've got myself playing on this computer as always because I never learn my lesson. Welcome to the show, folks. I have to say the support that you've all been giving me recently is unreal, so I thank you all tremendously. Thank you. But I need to just say something right now. The thumbnail, Stephen, if you are watching this, with the piece of meat, the spam, somebody said in the live chat, the pre-live chat, is Greer spamming? You know, is that what it's about? It's not. It's just that I just really liked how his face went inside the meat. So without further ado, without me boggling on about spam and Greer's face in the meat, I could have put a UFO in that meat on the plate, but you know they look like a saucer anyway, flying saucer. So yeah, I'm just rambling. Welcome to the show, Lee. How you doing, my man?
I feel that to cut directly from spam to me, Ollie, is you're trying to say something. You're trying to point something out.
No, we need to save that, Lee.
What?
You're gonna destroy my thunder.
Okay, sorry.
Scott Browne, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome indeed. We do have Rich Giordano, but the last time I looked, he was swearing a lot and doing stuff with his green screen. So we'll wait until he's fixed that. But let's just talk about the elephant in the room, and that is your head, Lee. What's happened?
I went to a gig. I went to a gig with my friend Susie. Susie has all of the hair. People that have watched my YouTube channel will know
She's a woman.
Yeah, but they'll know her from doing like reaction videos with me on YouTube. Anyway, she's got loads of hair, and this photograph was taken of us looking at the stage from behind us, and all I could see was this big old patch of skin on the top of my hair. And because I'm a fucking control freak, I needed to make sure that I went bald on my own terms. So I just shaved all my hair off.
Nice.
Well, I'm loving it. I said to you when you sent it to me, you know, normally I would, you know me, I like to take the piss a bit, but I generally think that colossal skull of yours suits being bald.
I don't hate it. I thought because there was a little bit before I shaved my hair off. I thought, well, am I going to regret this? And I thought, but no, don't hate it. Everything is colder now. Everything is colder. I've got 2 pairs of socks on and 2 pairs of pants on this.
I'm glad you've not got on your head.
No. Definitely fucking business up top, party downstairs. But the pillows are fucking cold now, all the time. Like there's no such thing, you know, like we used to have like the cool side of a pillow is really nice. It's now the fucking enemy. So
what about the feel of it?
A bit like sandpaper.
Yeah, does he get a rash? It looks pretty. It's got all well kept. Anyway, let's just get off your bald head. I do love it though. I do love it. Scott, I mean, I did send Lee the link, but he said the show's too long. I can't listen to you for that long, Alien. I like coming on the show, but I just can't.
And without knowing much about this, she seems full of shit. So
you didn't entertain it, but you know the story, Lee.
Yeah, well, I mean, we touched on it a few times, didn't we, on the lead up to this with Rich and you know, and other shows I've done with you. So I kind of knew what she was peddling going into it.
We're talking about Anjali.
Yeah,
Anjali.
It just didn't. Everything from the way she held herself to the way she spoke just came across as disingenuous.
And this is from an outsider, because Lee, you've not really followed the story.
No, not really.
To be fair, I've not, because I kind of messed up, because I did say, who are the people at the you know, when you first did the video? Why was there so many people there? And she said, do you not know that? Do you not know that's the film crew that they asked to? They was there. They were helping us. I've already said this. I've already explained this. I'm like, okay. Even my wife said, yeah, you fucked up there. I'm like, well, you know what? I skipped past that part. You know, I just wanted the good stuff, the aliens.
Hey, if she's coming on your show to talk about her story, and she's going to get upset when she gets asked questions that you're confused by certain details, she's not much of a fucking interview. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I to give credits where credit's due, she came on to defend herself because Ryan was on the show.
That's fair, though. But you were asking questions. So if she was going to defend herself and she'd said stuff that maybe you'd muddled up or you hadn't heard properly or something like that, and then she's going to get shirty because she has to explain it, then she's not defending herself. She's she's defending herself, but she's being defensive. If you know.
By the way, everybody in the chat, people who are watching this that's not live, this is not going to be an Angeli rant for 2 hours. But I kind of need to get the last week or so out because it's fresh in our heads. And Scott, you came on my channel for the first time last week, which I'm glad you did. You're a good guy to know in the field. I like people that make me look intelligent when it comes to UFOs because I know very little. I find the subject, I find the people in the subject more interesting than the subject. So you've worked with Ryan for a long time. You were very vocal about Ryan. Him being very you don't think that he would pull the wool over people's eyes or say anything if he didn't actually have evidence to present. Where's your thoughts now when it comes to the Angeli case and what Ryan has been doing in the background?
Well, the you know, like I said before, and I've stated it a few times, I've known Ryan for a while. He's never lied to me. He's not the type of guy that's going to go out there and fabricate evidence to try to prove his point. I mean, people have said the same thing about me because they know that my degrees in digital imaging, you know, that I've fabricated things in the past. That's not Ryan at all. So one point I want to make is, during the show, when you had pulled the images onto the screen of the area, and
the Google images
from all trails, right? And as Ryan is speaking, he begins to say those images are from all trails, and I spoke up and I finished the sentence for him. And I said, those are from all trails. Mm-hmm. And people went on to say later that he was trying to pass these off as his own, which he was not doing.
No, he sent them to me saying that this is not my footage, but this is where it is. Rich, right. Thank you for joining us, mate. You've sorted it out. It looks well. Don't worry, this is not an Angeli rehash show. It's just kind of like I want to just touch on
Scott Lee. Yeah, I know. I heard.
What's going on?
I've been here since the show started. I was wondering when I was going to come in.
Sorry, I was staring at Lee's.
I'm joking.
No, it's Lee's head. I just can't stop staring at it.
Wait a minute. Scott, how could you say that? That's different from what I remember, because I'm the one who brought it up to Ryan. I said, those aren't your pictures, are they? And he said, no, these are from Google Earth. And I said, so where are your pictures? I want to see that. I thought we were going to see that. Right? He said he was going to come on to show us pictures, but I assumed his pictures. See, he had a lot of play on words that night, and I still haven't seen anything that's valid from what he said. We still don't. Yeah, right?
Yeah, so the other part of it is that he's been accused of manufacturing the text messages. Some people said that it was a friend that he set it up in his phone to say Wayne. He used a recording of Wayne's So this is not Ryan. Ryan doesn't do that.
I think you're wrong. People thought Jeffrey Dahmer was a nice guy, and he
Well,
ate people. So you don't know who you're dealing with.
I know Ryan.
Hitler liked puppies.
Well, I'm telling you, this time he blew it because he didn't bring any evidence, and the way it looks like he fabricated everything.
And I agree with you that more should have been presented.
Well,
But
something should have been.
what he did present, he did not manufacture it.
Nah.
So
I think he did.
But
So
we have a deadline. We have a deadline of the 15th of December.
Yeah, right. Now, if that doesn't happen, it's over for Ryan.
So here's something that people have kind of overlooked, okay? Angeli talks about how she spent 2 weeks out in California trying to convince Wayne to let the expedition on his land. This is when she came back. She posted on Twitter, it's canceled. He doesn't want anybody on the land. During the video, when Ryan says, I was out there at his house at All Trails, she says, yes, I know you were out there. So the only way that she could know that he was out there is if she spoke to that Wayne Simmons. That is the only way. Go back and watch the video.
Is this on Scott? Is this on mine, Alien Girls, or Steven's?
It's on yours, Ollie.
Oh wow! It may have been after I left. I'll have to listen to that.
So there's no possible way that she could have known because Ryan and her were out there at the same time. So when she went out there to talk to this guy, somehow she found out that Ryan was out there at the same time.
No, wait a minute. He was on Truth Seekers the night before he said it. That's how she...
Okay, maybe it was...
yeah, she says, I know you were out there. I have all the transcripts from that show. I could find it.
But no matter what show, how did she know he was out there?
I just said, because he said it.
So maybe it's Truth Seekers show that I'm talking about.
Yeah, maybe. I'll take a look. I'll look at the... we'll figure it out. Again,
but it's really, really sketchy, man. You know, and then there's another part where she is constantly saying Wayne is not his real name. Well...
Yes.
Wayne Simmons' real name is Edward Wayne Simmons.
Oh, come on. Well, it's in his name then.
So some of the property is under Edward Wayne Simmons, and he goes by his middle name. So, you know, I mean, she is correct in a way. That's not his name.
It's a play on words.
Right. So, you know, that's, I don't know. There's some deception going on here. You know, Ollie, I'm going to send you a couple of things. I'll send them on Twitter. I don't know if you can pull them up, but I want you to take a look at a couple things here.
Yeah, sure.
Can I ask Lee, did you join the MMA or something?
I did just before you joined. I'll tell you dead quickly because I told everyone already. I went to a gig and somebody took a picture of me and my friend from behind us, and I saw this little tiny patch of skin appearing where the crown of my head should be. And because I'm a massive control freak, I decided I'm going bald on my own terms and shit.
Dude, it's fantastic.
It's either that or at this stage in the fucking hell we're in, I've hit my Britney Spears point. It's one of those. I'm not sure which one yet.
No, you're not there yet. We shaved the beard off. Just like she had to. Oh.
Okay, so this that you just... What is this, Scott?
This is Angeli's background in the military.
Oh, okay. And this is for public record. This is allowed to be shared, yeah.
Yeah, it's public record.
Okay, let's just share.
So pay attention to some of the titles. You know, as you can see, social media shows up on there 3 different times. Social media coordinator, military intelligence, social media military operations. So this is important. It's very important.
Okay.
And then I have another.
So that means social media is that she just deals with announcements and puts them on social media? Like if they have a new course or a new thing they're doing, or is that what she's doing?
I think that was some of her duties, but I'm going to send a page from another document, and I want you to take a look at this.
Oh, man. This is unbelievable. Katmai. Is it Katmai? Katmai Government Services.
We got Ryan in the chat.
Oh, Ollie, we have echo.
I don't know why we got echo. Is it because I've got nothing on it? It might be coming from somewhere else.
That's weird.
Because I've got nothing running. Is that echo gone?
No, I hear myself when I talk. Just very slight.
Scott, have you got headphones, mate?
I don't.
You don't. Just turn down the computer slightly then, because well, if you haven't got headphones, we'll just deal with it. It's fine. I think it's coming from Scott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I turned it down some. That's not me, though.
Oh, that was my computer for some reason that just decided to cool off.
Yes, so with Ryan saying that about the screen that he did say that he might not be showing any evidence or screenshots. That was in the last text, I believe. I think so. Where he asked there, I think I've got the other screenshot. Or you had it, Rich. That were it. I didn't have the last message, but you had the last message where Wayne did say, "I don't want you showing anything." But I mean, I said this to you, Ryan. You paid $1,000. You know, I've seen the check that he sent to Wayne.
So have I.
So if you've paid $1,000 to somebody, I'd expect you need to get back to him because you paid for that interview. In my eyes, you've paid for the interview.
No, did you saw it for Wayne or for Edward Wayne?
I saw the check. Yeah,
for Edward Wayne.
I saw.
It was the name was blotted out.
Perfect. Just gets better.
All right, so I sent you the second document, Ollie.
Oh, this echo's insane.
Where's the legal groundings when it comes to an interview? Because if you film somebody, because it's how they make sure that you can do like live footage, isn't it, of loads of people walking past. So if you film something, like the owner of that IP is the cameraman, isn't it? If I'm right. So surely, if he wanted to put that out, he could do it anyway, couldn't he? He wouldn't need permission to put that interview out.
Well, depending on if he signs some kind of agreement with someone, then it's not going to let him do it.
It would seem, I suppose, yeah. Maybe there's some sort of I need to see what you're going to put out, and I can okay it. But again, I feel if you've paid somebody and you're going to pay them, you would only pay them when you had the product to put out. You know, you would think that he's that $1,000 was going to be given to him when he'd okayed what could be put out, not beforehand. Because he could have always done the interview knowing he was going to say no to allowing it to be shown, and just took the $1,000.
Right.
Lee, I know what you're saying. That I mean, my wife watched the show for I was saying this to you earlier. This is probably one of the first shows she's ever watched because she watched. She's been really into the people that do the body language stuff. You know, them guys that did the Bob Lazar. And they've done other people. She's really into the body language stuff. So she watched the first. She watched Angeli when she first had the cameras in front of her when she's outside. Is it Congress or whatever she's outside of? And she kept pointing out certain bits of body language, and I said, well, maybe that's because she's nervous or what have you. But then she watched the show, and she's like, she's picking up on certain things. But all she did say in Ryan's defense, that because my wife's quite up on law and what have you, says what him just paying for a check would not stand up in a court. Him just paying for it would probably not stand up. It depends what documents were signed over and how he did that. So I think so. I will say the conversations that I've had with Ryan, Ryan wants to keep his professionalism in the industry as somebody. He's not just in it for UFOs. He does documentaries, and if he messes up
if he fucks someone over, he's going to find it very hard to be trusted.
His reputation will be tarnished. So I get it. So he's like saying, I understand that you want that evidence to put out, but I've got more to lose than just this one case to lose a bit of credibility for this. People either they take it or leave it. But to be fair, and he's right. Angelique's claims, it's a tunnel that was dug by a person called Wayne that showed her a bunch of aliens in a cave. Scott, I can't see this and I'm extremely dyslexic. So can you just take us through what this actually is?
Yeah. So this is part of I believe it's 5 pages. It's really a list of her duties and the things that she was involved in during her time in the military. So a couple of key points at the top where it says, it's the first paragraph down that says summary. It says, retired Miss Angelique is a subject matter expert in the human factors affecting the communication and decision making of executive stakeholders, as well as in the collection, analysis, and exploitation of the open source cyber domain to create situational awareness and early indications, warnings for threat assessment. She is adept at identifying individuals with placement and access to key decision makers, and in predicting and influencing the critical decision making of foreign state or non-state stakeholders when entering into formal negotiations.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting the gist of where this is going. I'll be honest with you. I'm not over the. I think the Angelique case will come up, but I'm now waiting to see what this evidence is out. You guys are putting this stuff out on Twitter. Twitter's been going off on my phone. People that tag me and stuff on Twitter. I'll be really honest with you. I have no idea how to work Twitter. I have no idea why 1,000 people. 1,000 and a bit people follow me on Twitter. I'm useless on it. I think we should hang fire on this case. And like Rich rightly said very sarcastically, Rich, that's why I love him. This is not an Angelique. I saw you, little sneaky little shit. This is not going to be an Angelique show. No, it's not, Rich. So let's move swiftly on. This is like this is why I love him. Let's get back to the spam. Somebody said, Rich, and I was saying this before you came on, somebody did say that when I first did the thumbnail for this, and I was very lazy because I've been busy, and this is a really old picture that I did, and I can't remember why it is even there, but somebody said, has Stephen Greer been spamming people? And I said, no, I just really like.
Oh, that's great.
I just like his face in
I
the
thought
meat.
that was bread.
Oh, no, it's a piece of spam.
That's the best. So he's been getting spammed. That's what I think that means.
No, it's clickbait. That's all it is, Rich. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Say what?
Nothing.
CB?
Yeah, bit of CB. People love it. The field is odd though, Rich. I mean, you've constantly been saying now that it's almost like you've lost all faith in it, and the little bit of faith that you did have before, you've always said to me, disclosure will never happen in a million years. So I think this is a very interesting panel to have, because Rich, you've always been the grounded guy, the guy that's like your dad going, listen, don't believe that shit.
Yeah.
But believe this. And Scott, you're the guy you've been doing the research. You're a good guy with this, and you seem to me very wholesome when it comes to ufology.
A little too wholesome.
And Lee,
hold on.
doesn't believe in aliens anymore.
So
I don't know what I believe in.
A lot of things that Rich, believes that we agree on.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying for 20 years, disclosure is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. That's just, people are thinking that this new generation, 2017, all these new people got into it. Let's bitch at our politicians and they're going to reveal all this stuff to us. That is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
That's right. You're right.
So Rich and I are on the same page with a lot of things. Yeah, we have disagreements, but we're still friends, and I respect him for what he does, and I think he respects me.
I do.
So,
what do you disagree on? Because I want to start something here. Thanks, Shell Bell, for the £5.
Yeah, we're not going to go there.
Well, I could tell it's nothing made, just like some debunks maybe here and there.
Okay.
And,
right.
About maybe some things that were said about somebody in the field,
Right. And that's about it. And
yeah.
Rich had me on his show for that whole deal, and anybody can go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you agree on? Let's go there. What do you actually agree on when it comes to this field?
I mean, I've always respected him because if you watch the panels that he's on with the Cousins brothers and, Dark Hour Paranormal and all those guys, Rich will always come out and say, wait a minute, that looks like a balloon, and he tries to keep it grounded. And because he's used to, like me, we're used to seeing that stuff. So we automatically go, wait a minute. It looks just like this video I saw a year and a half ago that was this balloon or whatever it was. And so I've always respected that he tries to keep it grounded. He's not one of these guys that goes, oh my God, that's a UFO, and actually it's a blimp or something. So, we agree on a lot of that stuff. I mean, him and I have traded information back and forth about different videos and, so.
Yeah. Been very respectful relationship, huh?
Rich, is that when Blake rings you up after the show and said, why did you have to go and say that? Why could you not have just agreed with us for once?
I'm not going to lie.
I'm joking. No. I'm joking, boys.
I'm not going to lie. I mean,
the respect for Blake and Brent for that, because they wanted you on for that specific reason. They wanted that person that would do that.
Level it out. Yeah. And those guys do a pretty decent job nowadays. I mean, they really tried to find out. See, their thing about Third Phase of Moon is to get it up and get it out as quick as possible before anybody else. So let's figure it out as quickly as possible and get this over with. Everybody sees that as them trying to make a quick buck, by putting a video up. Hey, man, they've been around for a while. They've made many mistakes. They've corrected it, changed it. I don't want to get into all that. But for the most part, we don't agree on everything. Even Blake and Brent and me, we'll have discussions about something. They're like, look, Rich, you weren't there. You don't know for sure. And I'm like, dude, you could tell. I mean, yeah, but were you there? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. And they're like, no, it does. I'm like, I see that side of it a little more than I used to. Shut up. What are you doing, man? How long you been standing there? Oh, man, you got big.
He's staring at you. No, do you know something? The turnaround that those boys have done in the field, seeing as we're speaking about ufology as a whole, I think it's great. I really do. I think it's great work. Even the stuff when they went out and they were reporting on the volcano, the eruption, that was amazing.
That was incredible.
Hands-on work, just going out there. Their entire life is possibly under threat of being destroyed, basically.
Dude, they were walking on soft dirt. Like their feet were sinking into the ground because the lava was underneath flowing and they could feel it. That ground could have given way at any time where they were at. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's cool though, man. You don't get to see it that close up.
Yeah.
When we're speaking about frauds and the people that are the big sellouts in this, and it is I got told by a few people that are quite high up in this game that it very much is a business. It's let's not mix business with pleasure. It is business. This is what it is. Ufology is a business.
It goes against everything I do, though.
I know.
Me too.
But it is.
It is, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Even you doing what you do, Rich, or me when I quit my day job and do this full time, it will be a business. There's a risk factor. There's a huge risk factor.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody could come to you and say, "Listen, I want you to." If you get as big as Secure Team 10, or Third Phase of Moon, there's a huge risk there for anybody who's a presenter and presenting to the population, that we could just be feeding them the narrative that the echo is really bad.
I know.
That we could just be Scott, do me a favor. I tell you what, if you wouldn't mind, I do say this to anybody that hasn't got headphones. When you're not speaking, if you wouldn't mind putting it on mute, and when you unspeak, when you do speak, that would be great, mate. Is still there the echo?
Oh, what a difference! No.
Oh, there we go. Don't worry about it, Scott, though, because it's
not. Yeah, it's not that bad. We can't handle it, but it gets annoying after a minute.
The field itself it's tarnished, and I think it's hard to grow now as anybody that's presenting the paranormal, ufology, anything like that on this platform that we're on right now. Maybe the competition may grow, and there'll be very much a good place for us. But as we have now a big responsibility, and I think, how do I word this? If what's the risk there, Rich, that somebody would give you, say you get to 1 million subscribers, and you're getting in 100,000 views per video. Somebody gives you a story, it is a good story to go with. So the Angelique case, say that didn't even exist, but that was there. This company went out, which I totally messed up, by the way, because I thought that she was there with a film crew that was her own guys. My bad. But as a big channel, you've got a responsibility there. If somebody new comes to the field with a huge story like that, and you just let that go out, like that film crew did, they put that story out there. They gave her that little bit of boom that it's now exploding,
It's all presentation, yeah.
This is the problem, though, isn't it, with everything now? It's not just ufology, it's any sort of social interactions online or interactions in general. People aren't allowed to be wrong anymore. If you put something out and it's wrong, you're destroyed before you can go in and rectify it and say, look, got that wrong. Turned out it was this, not that. But people aren't interested in that anymore. You instantly become demonized straight away.
But
you do.
Alien Addict, you were going to ask me something, I think, and we got rerouted.
No, I'm just saying, and it's exactly right. What
No, you were asking what the risk was.
Yeah, the risk factor there
But-
of us promoting people like Anjali,
No,
people like because we are promoting, and we even with David Wilcock and his car, we're all talking about it. Third Phase have talked about it. You've talked about it, and it's obviously some sort of money making scheme. But we're all promoting this money making scheme. We're all promoting Anjali, and I do believe she's writing a book. I really do. I think she's a lovely lady. I do. I think she's
what do
writing a
you?
book, though.
We have to talk about it, and I know people say, "Why promote people who are, negative towards the community, just trying to make money?" Well, the more I speak to a different crowd than you and other people, so I want to spread the negativity of that person out there because I don't want people to follow them. Dorothy Hawkins, 5 Bones, thanks Alien Addict for putting this panel together. Awesome.
And Dorothy Hawkins is an awesome person in this community, and she helps out with the field. She does a lot of work for you as well, doesn't she, Rich? Oh,
Yeah.
Dorothy. She's awesome. Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I suppose the problem's looking at it as promotion, isn't it, for something like that? Because if you get like a news story that says there's been a problem manufacturing baby food and there's broken glass in baby food, you're not promoting that brand. You're informing people that there's
Right.
something fucking dangerous.
What a great
in it.
way to put that. Yeah, you're right. Look at you with no hair.
I know if I shave a beard off, I look like a big baby.
You'd
That's
be
what
a
I'm worried about
genius.
it.
You would look like, I like that look right there, Mr. MMA. I'll be right back. My screen went down.
Scott, you know what I'm saying though. So when it comes to shows like I mean, I can't vouch for yourself. I don't know how much you will talk about this on your show. I know you've talked about it on what's her name? Scott, unmute yourself, mate. Erica's channel. But do you feel like that we are promoting somebody like Anjali? Even though we're speaking in so many terms in a negative way, like when you guys were speaking about the Travis Walton case, and presenting what the work that Ryan had done with that.
My opinion is that this happens every few years in ufology. Somebody comes along. I just did an episode of my news and commentary show on my channel that talks about the whole Phil Snyder thing. So these people come along with a story, and it's just a story. It doesn't have any evidence. It doesn't have anything to hold it up. And they get elevated. So as soon as they get elevated, somebody else pays attention. Then they get elevated again. More people pay attention. And it's just builds its own momentum. And so every time she's on a show or her name turns up in the title of something, she's being elevated more and more and more. Phil Snyder was the same way. He came forward with this crazy story about Dulce, 60-something highly trained military men were killed by the aliens. He took a direct hit in the chest and he survived from this alien weapon. Just complete mythology. But people today will still pass around his conferences because they let him speak at conferences. So it comes out years later, he was diagnosed as a schizophrenic. He cut his own thumb and 2 fingers off because he was doing self-mutilation. He spent time in a mental institute. And he was elevated over and over again. And there's still people today. I just got an argument with a guy a few weeks ago trying to tell him it's just not true. None of it's true. There's no base there. There's nothing in that mountain. But people want to believe what they want to believe.
But didn't his wife actually, didn't Phil's wife turn around and say that, didn't she actually say that he was nuts?
Yeah, she was playing up some of the stuff. Like, I believe that she went along with the story that he had not committed suicide, that somebody had killed him. And, you know, the autopsy report's been released. It's online. He killed himself with a catheter. He tied it around his neck and he choked himself. You know, so there's so much of it that's full of holes. He has no background in geology. He claimed to be a geologist. You know, there's just it's absolutely insane. It just took on a life of its own, like this Angelique case, and now it's spread all over the internet. And, you know, I mean, she's gaining momentum. But I just wanted to say one thing about the news conference, and this is something that still is a thorn in my side. At the beginning of the news conference,
This
at
is the Angeli news conference.
right,
Yeah.
at the Lincoln Memorial,
Still
she states, you know, she states that, you know, they invited a bunch of news organizations and none of them showed up. And she makes a remark about that and says, well, you know, if they don't want to show up, you know, whatever. So this documentary team just happens to be at the same place as her, and they decide to film this stranger that they don't know and put out this news conference. It's just doesn't jive.
She was having technical issues and they came over to help, and she said if it wasn't for them, because they were already in the area doing something.
It just doesn't make sense.
That is exactly why I asked the question, where, you know, I felt a little bit silly. And even my wife said, you should have been listening. You should have gone back and watched the entire bit of that conference, because that was the people that were filming it. But I had my suspicions right there, and I think on the last show I didn't present that well. But that is what I'm actually talking about right now. The people who are presenting these stories, we have kind of like a responsibility. If you are hardcore into the hardcore ufology, and you don't want to tarnish, we always talk about tarnishing the subject, but we do interview these people. We speak to these people. We whether we speak about them in a negative or a positive light, we still push the stories. So and people have said, the reason why I'm saying this right now is because I've seen things pop up on my Twitter, messages on YouTube recently saying, why are you even giving this the light of day? Why are you doing this? Because all you're doing is you know, lifting the story even more, and you're giving it wings. You know, my argument to these people is, if we don't do it, somebody will, you know, and this is what we do.
I didn't do it.
You should have.
You asked me.
I asked you and you said no.
Nope. No reason to. We talked about it for 6 hours that week.
I was quite proud of you. You was all Angelique out. you know, it's an odd thing, because a year ago, nearly a year ago, it's probably about 6 months ago. Time has nothing anymore. But we were speaking about Greer, and God bless his soul. We was talking about how impressed we were with what he did about the threat and the documentary that he was releasing, even though he was asking for funds on that. I think both me and you, Rich, were quite impressed with it, and saying, you know what, good for him. Good for him. He's fighting against this alien threat, this bullshit threat. But at the same time, how much money did that make? You know, how much did he make off the funding he got from that small YouTube documentary?
I know.
Lee, you were about to say something?
I was just going to say, I still feel that documentary was a 2-hour advert for his app. You know, it's the fact that the last half an hour of that was just talking about this new app he was launching on iOS. Didn't sit right with me, and the fact that, you know, and I was impressed. You know, I've always been critical of Greer, but I was impressed by that sort of sit-down interview he did where he was talking about the threat and stuff like that. But again, once Greer's bit had been out, which benefited him, he evaporates again. And I'm sure he'll evaporate until he wants to start building up like to his next documentary that'll come out. If you look at ufology as a business, like he has fucking mastered it.
Yeah. Totally mastered it.
Because he presents well. If Jeremy Corbell had a smidgen of his talent to speak, he would be a very wealthy man. Nope, I don't know, but he may be now. I don't know, but
I think he probably is. I tell you what, I bet Corbell's Bob Lazar documentary had more eyes on it than Greer's documentary. Yeah, you can't. When you think about how long that was on the front page of Netflix for.
My God. Yeah.
I still get adverts for it on YouTube.
Yeah, I do too.
Even though I bought it I actually own it on YouTube. I bought it when it first came out.
But go ahead, Scott. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say I wanted to.
Scott, you muted.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
No,
you're a Lee guy. Lee, you know your name, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't see his mouth move, and I went sweet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, and the thing with the Lazar thing, and that's another cycle that ufology goes through, where they recycle this stuff for a new generation. You'll see younger people popping it up and posting it. You can believe Lazar's story if you want. I mean, that's up to you. But the bottom line is there's virtually no evidence for what he says. We have the one phone book that showed that he worked at Los Alamos. That's it. They couldn't verify professors, schools, MIT, none of it.
So weird.
And I cannot buy the fact that somebody went out there and completely wiped his record clean. That would have to include dozens and dozens of people to be in on this thing and get into these computers and wipe out these names. And it doesn't even make sense.
I would have agreed with you up until 2 years ago, because when you look now with the subject that we can't talk about on YouTube, with doctors and specialists, essentially careers being altered because they've come out and spoke against an official guideline. I'm sure I can't say the doctor's name because I'm sure YouTube wouldn't like that either. People's entire academic careers and of things that they were involved in, that they pioneered, have been changed to fit this narrative now. I think it can be done quite easily just to get rid of somebody if they don't need them. But with what you say about Lazar, I don't know if I believe Bob Lazar's story or not.
You're a big Rogan fan, though.
I'm a big Rogan fan.
Do you believe that Rogan believed him?
Yes.
And he had dinner with him that night.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that even if you take the migraine that Lazar had when he was on Rogan's podcast and stuff like that, but even if you take that into account, I still think that it would be hard to go onto a show like the JRE in front of 100 million people that it's going to go out to, and lie for that amount of time and stay coherent. But there's something with him. I don't believe it's all fabrication, but there's something to it, and it could be all misdirection. He could literally be playing a role. I would believe that he was being put in a place to disseminate this information more than he just dreamt up a story because he thought he'd make a quick buck from it.
Look at Ryan's hurt. Ryan's hurt. Is
Lee,
this thing on?
Have you ever seen?
It's on.
All right.
It's on.
Have you ever seen?
Rich, we can hear you.
Yeah, I know you can, but Scott's talking.
Oh,
That's why.
So Lee, have you ever seen There was a videotape made by Bob Lazar and his best friend Gene Huff, and this was for sale. And not a lot of people have seen it.
No.
And it opens with Bob pulling up in his Corvette, and he gets out and he's like, "Hi, I'm Bob Lazar," and he starts going into this whole spiel, and it's like a nighttime infomercial. It's like not a guy who's coming forward with top secret information.
Wow,
It is
okay.
it is the weirdest thing you've ever seen, and it's just, I don't know. I have no faith in that case at all.
Wow, that's interesting. I'll have to go and look at that.
Do you know what? Do you know what dates that case? Do you know
What dates it?
What dates that case?
His Corvette?
I'll tell you what dates the case. I need my tools. That's what dates the case. That is what dates the case. We spoke about this for so many shows, Rich.
The sport model.
The sports model.
The classic flying saucer has been replaced. It's gone. We've spoke about how UFOs have changed over time with the generations, like going from the 1940s, 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they have changed. And they have changed with the shape of cars, which is quite odd, very odd, which leaves a lot of suspicion there, more than anything for me. But this, and that there's a good title for a video. This, I don't know how you title it, but the flying saucer has died a death. It's done.
It's Tic Tac or nothing now.
Flying saucer is done. So either we killed the aliens that have got the flying saucers, or the aliens in the flying saucers have gone and got their next upgrade, and they don't use these anymore. But I do think that when you get as a species I think if we get, say, 2,000 years ahead of ourselves, I think it'll slow down in terms of aerodynamic and what we will use to push ourselves forward. I think that may slow down. I mean, look at the space race. Look at what we were using back when we went to the moon and what we're using now. I think it would definitely slow down. It's already slowed down.
So the sightings that everybody was seeing 40, 50 years ago are the things that we're now seeing in the public view? Because I haven't seen anything, because we're always hearing, they're 25 to 50 years advanced in the government, and we won't see that stuff for 40, 50 years. Hey, it's 50 years later. I haven't seen any technology that looks incredibly alien.
Well, here's
nothing.
A thought. Here's a thought then. If you take UFOs as like changing models and stuff.
Is this on?
Yeah. You all right?
I don't know.
But if you take that UFOs are going to change shape, and we've gone through different forms of them. If you look back in time, where we hear like biblical stories of chariots of fire and stuff like that, could they have literally been seeing chariots of fire in the sky? If it moves with their technology, like we've updated that in our heads, go, oh well, they're just silly. What they were looking at was flying saucers. Did they see a literal depiction of something similar to their own technology? Do you get me?
You mean did they actually see chariots?
Yeah. Or something reminiscent of something they can grasp.
Yeah, they made that type of technology out of the stuff they were using back then.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean?
No. Is that what UFOs looked like then?
Yeah. I see.
Did they more resemble
so like
chariots?
the shape-shifting aliens, maybe the shape-shifting craft.
But why?
I don't know. To make it more palatable for when they're in front of people, to make it less scary. Like if you had when you have human beings that go into the wild and live with animals, and you'll get them like dressing up in like bear costumes and stuff like that, so they can fit in with what's around them. Maybe that's a way of trying to make it seem less crazy. Maybe what they actually are is much more fucking crazy than the idea of a spaceship.
I mean,
So
to
you
answer
think-
Ryan's question there, that my greatest case is Rendlesham, because I was born literally 2 days after or 2 days before that happened. It was the Rendlesham case.
You weren't born, you were left.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think for me it would be any of Ted Phillips' work, and he began to work with J. Allen Hynek when he was a young teenager, traveling the country, and he began to gather cases that only had trace evidence. So the object affected our environment in some way, left a ring on the ground, affected plants and trees, and a lot of his work, which has never been published, he just passed away, but very meticulous researcher, and he gathered this stuff from all around the world. He traveled everywhere, and some of those cases, I mean, there's evidence there. There's evidence that something affected the environment. Can we say that it's an alien spaceship? No, we can't. But something did affect the environment. So I kind of look for the cases that have something solid behind them that we can't explain, and then, go from there.
Scott, Rich, I mean, out of me and Lee, I would consider you two the biggest ufology people that I know that are on this panel right now. In terms of when did we see the first evidence of a flying saucer? Because Frapsap, thank you very much for the $7 super chat, my friend. Greatly appreciate. Great question. What no one mentions is Lazar's sports model is exactly identical to the Billy Myers debunked beam ship. It is. In every way. If the classic one that stuck to a tree.
Absolutely.
So what came first? That's what I'm asking. When was the first? I know there was flying saucers well before Billy Meyer, but when was the first one?
Well, there's a book that you can purchase by Jacques Vallée, where they went through archives all through Europe, and they documented. It's called Wonders in the Sky, and they documented all of these cases that were witness cases.
Yep.
And some of them can easily be explained by natural phenomena, comets and meteors, but there's a lot of things in the book that cannot be explained that way. And this is going back hundreds and hundreds of years. And then you can go back to the prophets in the Bible. I mean, a lot of people don't want to look at it that way, but they describe things coming down out of the sky that were just, they labeled it God and angels. But how they describe some of these things is really bizarre. Like they were grabbing at something to try to describe it, and they couldn't. So my own personal belief, I believe they've been around long before us.
I do think the flying saucer is possibly fake. And I think it may have always been faked. Because when you look back at, I can remember doing a classic sport as a kid, discus, okay, where you would, you chuck it out, that discus. We've always had, like, as far as back to the Romans, this sort of object that we could chuck in the air. It was flying saucer shaped. And then we got cameras where we could actually photograph something like that in midair. But it came from something. People were seeing something in the sky. And then people started faking that thing in the sky because people had things like frisbees, discus, objects stuck to trees. They had it. It came from something. That it came from an idea. You know, all these things spouted from something. And back to what Lee said about the chariots. They started from something. But I think, I don't like to use the words here, but I'm going to use them. People have muddied the waters for so long now that it's that murky. You can't even see the grit. You know, it's almost destroyed. I don't think there's any way of fixing it. I just think we have to discuss it as adults and go back over the stuff that we used to believe. As much as I'm quite against that when it comes to certain things in life, when we change things, but I think when it comes to ufology that we do need to make a change and go back to what we once believed and start again almost, because I think it's something completely different. I'm kind of in Lee's field here that I don't even know if it's alien anymore. You know?
Just a question to Rich and Scott, for the same reason. Do you think there's like, if you take like all wanting to find out about this subject out of it, do you
Cheers,
think
Mr. D.B. Cooper.
Do you think there's been any real progress, like proper quantifiable progress? Or is it all the, what we were saying before about your lady and the whole people wanting to believe things? So you want to believe there's been something? Because I know I've said to you, Rich, the whole subject at the moment, to me, for looking from the outside, feels like watching an Ancient Alien episode where you're just dragged along through the episode. You never find anything out, and then you just wait for the next episode to come along.
It is like Lost. It is. And to be honest, I talk about it all the time, man. We haven't gone anywhere. I don't think so. A lot of people think we have, but I don't think we've gone anywhere because we still haven't seen any real evidence, and that's what we've been waiting for, at least me for the last 17 years, and Scott forever too. Where's that? So that, if we get anything in those 3 videos, Gimbal, Go Fast, Tic Tac, are really blurry FLIR videos. You don't see anything. They can tell you anything they want. It's not what you think it is. Mm-hmm. You think they're all of a sudden going to start giving us UFO evidence? Come on, man. So I think this field is corrupt from every angle and every side. Every person that you see on mainstream media is part of the problem. And we haven't gone anywhere. Greer's done so much, but what? Everywhere he goes, he gets shut down. Everybody gets shut down. Even TV shows. UFO Hunters was doing something, and supposedly they got close to getting some information they shouldn't have, and they actually shut the show down, according to Bill Burns. Wow. Anywho.
So Eric here is saying, if I'd have seen one up close and personal, I have seen them not up close and personal, but I get people on my show that tell me the story, and there's loads of people that come on the show and I completely believe. I want to see that up close and personal. What I want to know is, why is there not the up close and personal evidence there? That's what I want to know.
Because the aliens don't allow that.
Frapsap. Thank you.
Oh, look at Frapsap.
Yeah. You don't think they'll allow that, Rich?
Because I don't think it's aliens, to be honest with you. I'm really confused right now. I don't know if there's aliens at all. The only thing that keeps me in the game is that there's a lot of people having abductions, talking about things, doctors, lawyers, judges, people you wouldn't think would come out and talk about this stuff.
The name Flying Saucer came from Kenneth Arnold. MT. Rich, help me out here. What's that say?
Oh, Mount Rainier sighting. Yeah, he saw the 9 disc-shaped objects. He coined the term flying saucer. George Adamski's phony films and photos with some sort of elaborated hoax saucer made from 1930.
Yeah, he said they were skipping across the sky as if it was a saucer skipping on water.
Yeah.
That was 1930s. So
No, that was 3 months before Roswell happened.
Roswell was way after
It
1930.
was 47, yeah. So,
Interesting.
I don't know. I think it was July 9th or something like that. July 7th, 1947. But he saw this stuff just 2-3 months before Roswell happened. And then after Roswell happened, well, everybody was seeing UFOs. So how's that happened? I think Roswell's just a couple of balloons, man. They got tangled up in the atmosphere. Something went wrong with the military experiment, I think. Makes sense.
But you just touched on exactly what Lee keeps. And if anybody in the chat, if you got Spotify or any podcasting, because it's on everything, the links are below. Go listen to Lee's shows. Better than what is it?
So there's still Must See Audio episodes go up, but the main show I do on Must See Audio is This Is Cheaper Than Therapy.
This is cheaper than therapy, not better than
That's
therapy.
true.
Yes.
You should wear different wigs every show.
I know.
Wait, it's just audio.
I've got the head for it now. I can just wear hats. I can wear hats.
Oh, right.
It is just
before.
It is just audio, but he did say on the last show, you were talking about being on Alien, and you were like, I don't even know if it's Alien. I don't think it's Alien anymore. I don't think, and you just said exactly the same thing, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that, especially with Scott here in the chat. When did you make that decision? When did you do that turn?
Probably. I mean, it's been in my mind for a long time, but, on and off for the last decade. But I've been really a strong component of that for the last year in my mind. What if it isn't? We have no proof of it. So it could just all be something so the military can get away with doing whatever they want in the sky.
Do you think there's been a problem with ufology keeping itself in its own little bubble? Because sometimes it feels like people that are into ufology don't like lumping ufology in with like the rest of the paranormal subject. Whereas if the subject of the paranormal is this more pan subject that's touching all these things from whatever like high strangeness subject you can think of, is keeping ufology in its own little pocket over here damaging the subject? Because it stops you talk about the fantastical, doesn't it? Because like when we had the podcast with Oswaldo on, and I was saying, it says, what we're doing is trying to put nuts and bolts on something that could be literal magic.
Yeah, that's a good point. I always try to slip in paranormal every week, something, but that should be talked about more. I think that's what Lou Elizondo's been talking about. Like he says, we don't know what it is or how it is, but we don't even have the technology to study it. And then he's talking about one night esoteric beings or esoteric whatever, and it could just be all mystical from another dimension. I mean, he's throwing hints down like that all the time. Yeah, I just saw it in a tweet the other day. He said something similar to that. What if it is? Because he talked to his higher-ups, Season 1, Episode 4 of Unidentified, the last 5 minutes he talked to his higher-up, said, can I go and get this information? The higher-up said, no, because it's all demons, and I ain't going to let you open that door. That was creepy. I never heard that ever said before.
Yeah.
So what if it is? What if you're right? What if it should be in the topic at the same time during all discussions?
Yeah.
But that's not what people are seeing. They're seeing mechanical things, and they're seeing them close up. I have a whole book from the FBI files that people are actually talking to aliens, and these are supposed to be real stories.
The big problem with that, though, and thank you, Mr. DBQ, because it is the gift that keeps on giving ufology. Otherwise, we wouldn't have shows.
Right.
The problem with that, though, and this is with all due respect to Osvaldo Franco, because I love him to pieces, and I respect him very much in this community, but he is completely all about the science. He refuses to think about anything other that, you know, religion can go and do one in his mind. And for a long time, I was like that. For a long time. Maybe I should be still like that. I don't know the answer. I really don't know the answer of what I should be like.
You're right. You don't know.
But here's the problem. For the people that are in the chat, there might be a lot of the people that are in the chat that are all about the science. They're all about the technology. You know, where can we go? Where can we travel to? What can we do with what they've got to give? Would they ever consider that the ancients were right? You know, when they were talking about God, and then they were talking about people, the gods, you know, that whatever it is that's out there, maybe this little ball that we live on is actually quite a unique place. And we've almost been told to forget. And this exactly what we're doing here right now. This show is designed. This is a design. What you're doing, Rich, what you're doing, Scott, what you're doing, Lee. Lee's against the grain, so it's okay. Literally against the grain. He's gone against the grain the other day when he
I'd go with the grain to start with.
But what if what we're doing right now is almost how they want it to go, to forget everything that the ancients told us? You look back at evidence. I mean, we document evidence now on hard drives in the cloud. We document it on paper still a little bit. We tend not to use that as much, but we put this stuff away, and we try, if it's important, we try to make sure that the people down the line will always remember it. I have trouble believing that a race, a community, whoever they were, wherever they were in the world, I have trouble to believe with some of the technology they had, with some of the way they built, the way they just were as people, would just think, you know, we've done this, but we don't want to document any of it. We'll just document little bits, and a lot of it just gets destroyed over time. I think they would have had a better way of doing it, but archaeologists are always looking and saying a lot of the evidence is gone. It's been destroyed. It's just disappeared. You look at the Incas, you look at things like Egypt. I mean, people are still don't have a clue about some of the mysteries when it comes to the pyramids. I would have thought that would all have been documented. It's almost like there's evidence that's been swept under the carpet from the ancients that we're not supposed to know about. And maybe if we did know that, we would know the secrets. We would know what this is all about.
Think about what it's going to be like in the future as well. You say we store things on hard drive and in the cloud now. Things that can be changed, especially the more we store stuff in the cloud, you know, can be changed with a sweeping hand of Google.
That would be a very easy Mandela effect, Rich. just to wipe the cloud and change a program, change some CGI, very easily change some CGI.
It'd be the best. Then it'd be real instead of bad memories. Were you asking me something?
No. It's just open to debate. It's not really a question. It's just literally all I'm saying there is it seems that these really intelligent civilizations, they had something, you know, they knew what they were doing when it comes to architecture. They knew what they were doing when like you look at the Incas and the star charts and stuff like that. They seem to have an idea. But whenever they look at the evidence, they say, oh, well, this bit's destroyed, so we can't quite fathom. I I just feel like they would have put it somewhere very safe
I think they did, and I think it was found.
and destroyed.
Maybe.
Because we
maybe-
don't know.
Maybe thousands of years ago it was destroyed when they left, or whatever, or they took it with them, whatever. I still think it's been found or will be found. I just don't know, but I don't think that it's not somewhere. They're finding technology. I really believe they are.
Did you just say when they left?
The aliens, if they left, or, you know, where are they if they were ever here? Do you think? I mean, how'd they build all this stuff? How did they know about stars and planets thousands of years ago, when we only got into astronomy as what we know in recent history? What, 1500, Scott? Galileo?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
Unless you go with Graham Hancock's and others' theories that we've had different civilizations through the course of time when there's been massive cataclysms happening,
Yeah.
essentially rebooted civilization. I mean, realistically, if you're looking into the fringe, the idea that we've just been around a lot longer, there's been cataclysms, and we've slowly built civilization up, it's more based in reality than the idea that we have civilizations from billions of light years that come to visit us. Just the idea that we are older than we thought we were.
That's interesting. So if all of our stuff got destroyed and then 20,000 years later, there was only a couple thousand people left, we procreated. So we would have to come back and rethink all the technology that we lost.
Well,
that's
don't
kind of
forget,
cool.
Well,
Yeah.
we get to the point. If you think of where we are right now, we are the most technologically advanced we've ever been. But the majority of people are, and I don't mean this in a derogatory term, even though it sounds it, the majority of people are the stupidest we've ever been. Because if you take us back a couple hundred years, we could all build farming equipment. We could all farm the land. We could grow food. Now, if there was a massive solar flare or something like that, I certainly can't build an iPhone. I can't build a Mac. So that technology is essentially lost, even though I understand it existed yesterday.
It's like the Colonel's gravy, isn't it? Building a Mac and
So
Coca-Cola.
Swing and a miss, Dolly. Swing and a miss.
Have any of you guys heard of the Silurian hypothesis?
No, what's that?
So it's a bunch of scientists that got together a few years back. I can't remember exactly when. They came up with the Silurian hypothesis, which is the idea that civilization rises to a certain level and it gets knocked back.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And so they are now looking for chemical signatures. So if you were to take your car, and in 1,000 years, your car will be dust. So to look for technology, the only way they can do it is to look for those chemical signatures to find out something was there before it decomposed. So
where do they look for this?
This is in different areas. There's the whole hypothesis is online, and it's really interesting. And, if that's the case, and we reach a certain level and then get knocked back to caveman days, the generations that came before, we can pass down our stories, we're now back to surviving in caves and hunting animals, and we can pass down those stories about, there was great cities back then and things like that, but it gets lost over time. So, it's a really plausible hypothesis.
So whose theory is this again, Scott?
There was I can't remember exactly their names. It was a one scientist suggested it to another, and they began to look deeper into it. and realized that the only way to find any type of highly technical civilization is they're gonna have to look for those chemical signatures. I think it's spelled Silurian, Silurian hypothesis.
Unless you build in stone.
Right. Which would be something that would last, almost forever.
Interesting. But it almost reminds me of that, the theory that if a civilization like us reaches a certain technology, we'll just kill ourselves. It's almost like that disappearing factor. It's how many times do I want to say it lays the foundations of what we should expect from other civilizations out there in space, and it seems like a very NASA esque thought process, which I don't trust. But I get that. I just think we'll see some sort of evidence. But I mean, I look at, and I've scoured over Mars, and I like the little channels that put out the Mars image. I used to do it myself. I look at some of that planet's, let's just say, anomalies, and they do look interesting. They look like possible stuff. I've even seen you be quite convinced on your show by some of them, Rich.
Never have.
Never. I've seen you.
It's all pareidolia.
It is all pareidolia. That's what
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it looks interesting, but I haven't seen anything really that's, compelling enough to say, though, that, well, there are pyramid structures on there, from Cydonia. I don't know if those are real or whatever. That region has some interesting stuff, man. I just don't know. And I think we should have high definition photos right now instead of blurry stuff.
Well, this bald headed guy here, he thinks it's Greenland.
Could be right.
I think you could be right.
My problem with NASA stuff now, and I've got a fucking spaceman tattooed on my arm. It's not like I don't like the idea of it.
But show the people that you love space. Show them.
I can't. It's on the wrong part.
Can't bend.
Oh,
what are you doing?
There he is.
Who is that? Popeye?
It's a spaceman.
No, it's a spaceman.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right on.
Not a flat earther.
The problem I've got is, and this is I enjoy watching the Flat Earth documentary. I won't lie. But I enjoy some of what they use as evidence for Flat Earth. I think is intriguing. I think the obvious green screening in some ISS footage is fucking crazy. When you've got what is obviously stop motion for spacewalks, and you can tell it's stop motion because the heads on the suits don't swivel, and then you've got your Russian cosmonaut that turns, looks at the camera, and waves at it. Yeah. Now, if this stuff's out there as real, right? Why haven't, first of all, for the Russian cosmonaut one, why haven't the US debunked that, officially debunked that? Because it's not like there hasn't been niggle between the US and Russia. You would think that would be something that would happen. On the what we look at as modern footage now, if I see something where you've got a green screen background and it's just the layer of the people that warp on it, I'm gonna question all of it from that point, because if there's people up there in the ISS, and I know you can see the ISS, there's something up there that's the same size as the ISS, you can see it. But if you're going to fake something, I'm going to want to know why before I believe anything else you tell me.
You're right, Lee. It's definitely there. 100% it's there. There's something there. There's a guy that I speak to every now and again who's an astronomer, and he filmed it going straight past the moon in literally a nanosecond. Woof, gone. but showed me his freeze frame of it, and you can see it's the shape of the ISS.
Yeah.
So whatever's up there is the shape of the ISS.
Mm-hmm.
But I would totally agree with you that when you're looking at some of the,
Yeah,
there's nothing there. It just looks a little bit what they're doing.
it's the big one for me. Is I'm sure you've all seen it. Is your man flies through the ISS? He goes through one of the doorways, which is the hatches,
Fades.
but he fades out before he goes through the door, and it's clear they've just set like the mask up wrong. In whatever After Effects, whoever's being used, they've set it wrong. So the point where he disappears isn't where the hole of the door should be, and somebody fucked up. Or in some cases, I wonder whether there's people that are in there, which maybe somebody now and again gets a conscience about lying to the entire world and makes a small mistake for people to see.
Do you believe they are lying to the entire world?
Something. So, well, I mean, that's if there's clear trickery, like clear photo manipulation or clear video manipulation that's been put out as this is happening right now and this is the way it's happening, then that is a lie. I don't know why they're lying to us. I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe it is all money. Maybe it's for the $7 billion a day or whatever it is that NASA get. Maybe it's that. But I've no idea. No fucking idea.
They have deadlines to reach, I think, and if they don't get the deadlines, they have to fake it.
I
because of
would
the
take
competition.
That. Yeah,
I hope it's that.
And the contracts, and also they want to see if they can pull it off. We're going to go to Mars. Not really. We can't send 7 people to their death, or however many they send. Yeah, it's a death sentence. We'll never make it there. I think somebody will sabotage it. Something's going to go down. Mark my words. But anyway,
do you think
yeah,
that happened with one of the civilian flights? Maybe. Do you think there might be?
Something like that. Maybe something that'll pull the heartstrings on everybody.
Yeah,
those families, they were children. The pregnant.
What they need, what Elon. I always said Elon, and I've said it too many times. Elon must send a flat earther. I'm not going to say that again. I've had a rethink on that. What Elon Musk needs to do, he's been with Joe Rogan. Why don't I get Joe Rogan to do an interview with Russell Brand on a rocket that's going over the Earth?
Oh,
that would be genius.
You have to bring a flat earther though.
Who's his mate? Eddie
Bravo.
Bravo. Is it Eddie Bravo? Get Eddie Bravo on there.
Oh yeah, because he's a huge
He's already said there's no chance he go on it, didn't he?
I wouldn't either.
He probably thinks he'll die.
That'd be the one. That would be the one that went up.
Yeah, just never came back.
Yeah,
You have to be careful on that one. Scott, in terms of the cod shit that we're talking right now, when we're speaking against the mightiest company in the world, what's your thoughts on NASA and what they show, what you've seen?
In all the years I've been doing this, any kind of governmental agency is the last group of people that we should be asking for the answers. Because let's take ufology off the table and let's just look at the multiple subjects that they've lied to their people about. I mean, it goes on and on. The LSD experiments they did back in the 60s and the 70s, the syphilis experiments they did on people.
My dad.
So it's not, when they say, this guy's from the government, he has a bunch of, he's credible, I still take it with a grain of salt. I'm very, very, I just stand back and see what's going to happen. But the bottom line is from them creating this atmosphere, causing people not to trust them. I mean, it's literally an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
you know, with what they do to people. And it's caused, you know, conspiracies to crop up everywhere, around every corner, and every government event is a false flag, and all of these crazy things. And they've caused that to happen, and they know it. And so I think that if NASA were to find something amazing, like they went up over a hill on Mars and there was a half a building or a crashed ship, I don't think they're going to tell us about it. I really don't.
I mean, I don't know if any of you pay attention, but there's been loads of things popped up recently on my phone, because I do follow NASA, about little things that they're finding on Mars, and I kind of lost interest in it. As bad as that sounds, I know it. But if this a year or so ago, 2 years ago, 2.5, I'd have been all over it. I would have been all over it, and I'd be, you know, excited, actually doing some reading, which pains me, but actually doing some reading and looking into it. But it's got to the point now where I almost can't be bothered, because I look at this subject, and the subject of space, and I just think somebody's been taken for a ride here, but it ain't going to be me.
But you did get taken on a ride. That's why you're burnt out. You did all that stuff when you first started the channel, right?
I know, yeah.
So now you become so acclimated to
Bitter.
it. It's, yeah, good word. Yeah,
I'm fucking
that's
bitter,
how I
Rich.
feel about ufology.
Rich, I spent nights and nights. You go back on my channel. People go back on my channel. You go back on my channel. You will see me speaking about NASA. You will see me scrolling across Mars surface, across the moon, bringing up NASA pictures, and just like, have you seen this, guys? Look at this. I have found an alien base on the moon. It's all rubbish. I actually don't know now, looking back at it, what I'm actually looking at. Is it even real, what I'm looking at? I know the moon's real, guys. It's up there. See it every night. Not every night, but... And I'm not a flat earther. For any of the flat earthers, don't get excited, because I know you watch my show. I know I make your nipples tweak, because you think you can turn me. You're not going to turn me. I'm not a flat earther.
Definitely got a foot in the pond, though.
You know, I've had to curb my, you know, the whole thing with the pareidolia, because, I mean, being an artist and being an illustrator, you know, my mind has played tricks on me many, many times, especially growing up as a child, and, you know, seeing things in the leaves and the trees and the forest. So I'm very aware of that sometimes these things, you can see them and they look distinctly like what you think they are. And I just try to be really careful of it, you know.
Do you think that the community, and I'm talking about the guys in the chat, I'm talking about the people on everybody's channel, the people on Twitter, everywhere, Instagram, wherever you are, whether you're into this subject, Reddit, anywhere, do you think they are starting to become wise to it? When you're looking at the things that have been tweeted out, do you think that a lot of them are still on the same page to what this is, and still looking for them flying saucers, the best NASA pictures? Or do you think there is starting to be a lack of trust within the community?
Just the community or the public?
I'm talking about the general community and not the public, because the public will be sold anything at the moment, because they're not in it. If my dad or my mum and dad, your mum and dad, Rich, you know, if it came on the news, they'd probably believe it. Mm-hmm. You know, if they, let's say, for example, they could pull off a Project Bluebeam, if that was a real thing, and all of a sudden they're like, there's alien ships over Earth and we don't know why they're there. Okay, for argument's sake, that could be put out to my wife, and my wife would run downstairs and go, "You were right," All along, you're right. My mum would ring me. You're right all along. You know, that would happen. If I saw it, if you saw it, if any four of us saw it, I guarantee we would be thinking this isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it. An asteroid, UFOs, not UFOs, aliens, spaceships over Earth, because they're not UFOs. They've been identified. They are alien alien spaceships. Whatever, we would. I don't think any of us would. We'd want to be on board that craft, or see the explosion from the asteroid, and feel it or whatever, to actually believe it. I think that's how far we've come. But what I'm asking is, the community, do you think they're quite easily swayed when it comes to this subject, when it comes to selling this story?
Well, when I was in California, we talked to the public, and they thought that we were going to be invaded by aliens. They'd be like, are we going to be invaded by aliens? Because that's what I heard, because of the threat. So whatever they're saying, it does stick to the public somewhat, but nobody really knew what UAP was. Not the little stuff, but they just hear, aliens are a threat, or the unknown's a threat, but they correlate it to aliens. So, yeah, they would believe it. They're gullible because they don't know, and they be like you and I were when we were first new to it, right? Oh man, this is amazing! Look at that! And then 20 years later, it's like, stupid guy, It's like he believes that's a UFO. It's like nothing is good enough.
And if anything did come of that, for kind of like, it almost feels like over the last few years what we've been prepped for with the UFO threat. If anything did come of that, we would be
replaced.
Yeah, we
because
would be,
how?
Well, no, because because I was thinking this before. I was trying to work away. I was trying to work a way to bring this up, because what you'd have is you would have this next breed of UFO influencers, for want of better words, because I'm already seeing it now. I know we spoke to I forget his name, the UK UAP guy. Yeah, he's a perfectly nice guy. I know he wants he's doing his stuff. Yeah, but I've noticed there's a group I've noticed from the outside that the group of sort of new like UFO people that have sort of sprung up are all popping the UAP thing in because they know it's good for search histories. They're very much weaving their way through the narrative of the Elizondo and the essentially what comes out on the New York Post and New York Times. If something was to happen and users go, that isn't right, the majority of the people that are into ufologists would go with those people because they're telling the sexy stories. You're the party poopers. If you turn around and say this is not right, you're going to be the voice which is like pissing on the UFO parade.
We're ruining the dream,
yeah. So that's what I mean by you to be replaced, essentially.
No, they're trying to do that now. Whoa, I'm getting the worst echo of my life.
All right, hold on. I'm going to cut that out. So I got to bow out because I got to get ready for Erica Luke's show.
Oh, yeah.
No worries, mate.
So I'm going to let you guys all go. Nice meeting you, Lee.
It's good to meet you, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Ollie, Rich. I'll see you around, buddy.
Okay, Scott.
Scott's links are below, people, in the description. Go check them out. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. I hope you join us again at some point, and maybe with Erica. Bring Erica. Let Erica know. I'd love to get her on.
Sure. Thank you. I'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, mate.
Great guy. One of the best. I really enjoy him. His work
salt of the earth.
Yeah, right?
You can just tell it, guy. He's one of them guys, and he's one of them guys that'll pick up your groceries. But you see, he's a nice
well, so
guy.
are we. I mean, we're that way too.
I don't know about you.
Do you know what I like about him? I think in all those like piles of books and papers and stuff like that, I bet there's loads of dead interest and stuff in it.
Yeah.
His entire backdrop there looked like Fox Mulder should have been going in to speak to him about something. Fucking wonderful, and I love it.
You can tell that Scott's actually is one of he's the researcher and he's the good guy that's into this subject, that boots on the ground. I want to find out what it is.
Yeah, he'd be doing that with or without YouTube.
You can see he's a bit butthurt. He's starting to realise something's amiss.
He's been there. Yeah, he's like us.
When did that happen, Rich?
I don't know. It's the way I always known him.
Oh, right, okay.
So
he just doesn't seem as pissed as you or me.
No, he can get pissed. Trust me. I'm just on every night being pissed. He's only done Twitter and he does Erica Lukes. Does he do it every night?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think they do it 3 nights.
Are you guys like me with this, as far as the like coming to the idea that there might be that we might be being lied to about all of this? Is because over the last 2 years, it's become painfully obvious just how easy it is to spin a narrative for that most people will latch onto. That's what's really
100%.
If you're looking at people talk about being woken up. If something's woke me up, it's the fact that I'm looking at things going, I don't know what's going on, but I don't understand how you guys think you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
People try to convince you that they are right because they've seen it somewhere, or they've seen the evidence, or they've seen scientific evidence to prove something without getting into trouble. Because we could go in all different directions with that conversation. But when it comes to the UFO field, aliens, I always thought it was aliens. For a long, long time, this is the reason why I started the channel. I thought, I said, we're not alone in the universe. You know, we've been visited. But just because it might not be that doesn't mean to say we stop doing what we're doing.
No.
Because we are on a search to find out what it is. Whether it could be dimensional.
It becomes more interesting then, to be perfectly honest. The conversations like this are more interesting than it would be if we were all to sit here agreeing about how they're from Zeta Reticuli, they're grey, and they drive the sports model. If we all came on and agreed on that, it wouldn't be an interesting 2-hour show. But the fact we don't know what the fuck's going on, and everybody has their own spin on what it is, and we're all brave enough to say that I don't know if brave's the right word, but honest enough to say that we don't know what it is. That's what makes this interesting for me. And that's why I like speaking to you guys about it.
What is it? And I did mean that when I said about the community changing, because I do see some of the regulars, and you'll have seen this, Rich, on your show. Some of the regulars seem to have changed their perspective when it comes to aliens, UFOs. Almost, whether we've I don't think we've done that. I don't think we're that. We're not. Maybe you're more influential than I am, but I think people are starting to become smart to it. I really do, and I think it's going to be us that's going to. I think it's us and the people that are in our chats that are on our channel that are giving us all the thumbs up and sharing the stuff out. We're going to be the ones that are going to pay. We're going to be the ones that are going to be called idiots when something actually does happen that we don't believe. And if you'd have asked me if anything like Project Bluebeam would ever happen 2 years ago, I'd have said no. Never in a million years. What a load of bullshit. Now I'm not so sure.
Do you guys remember shows ago, like this is ages ago, when I told you that what I foresaw happening is that there would be a switch at some point where we would be the conspiracy theorists because we didn't believe in aliens.
Yes. And I think that's what will happen.
Yeah, I don't see that. Because it hasn't changed in my 17 years in the field. It hasn't even teetered even a little bit in that direction.
But Rich, the shift, you can't deny the shift. There is a huge shift right now.
No, there isn't.
I don't think there's evidence. There's definitely a shift because
No, there isn't.
My people like my dad, who has no interest in UFOs whatsoever. He doesn't even have a computer to go on the internet. But he was told by his friends in the pub to watch Rogan's interview with the pilot. Yeah, I mean, that was a bar talk about UFOs.
Yeah, that happens once a year. It's nothing major. We just had the last couple of years have been the Lou Elizondo show. All right, and that's all it's been. And I think it's a disinfo. I think it's all about China having this new technology that we don't have, and that's why they're using threat, because China may do a test on the United States, and to avoid a war, they may say it's aliens. And then we'll have to bow to China or something. I mean, I'm really worried about what's happening.
Yeah, I am.
It's no joke. And there's no evidence, and there never will be. So imagine that. That's it. So where do we go? Why is there no evidence? Because the government takes every single thing that is brought to TV or mainstream media, whatever. How come there isn't? How come I don't have any? I have dots. Who cares about dots? Nobody has anything. Nobody's walking around with, aliens and UFOs. Nobody. Maybe it's all BS.
Look what Snowden came out with. When he blew the whistle on what was the project called?
You talking about McKinnon?
Project. No. Edward Snowden. Yeah, when he took his information, didn't he? He got the fuck out of there.
Oh yeah.
Stuck it everywhere. There's been so many whistleblowers, and you look at where Julian Assange is and stuff like that. I feel that if there was more meat on the bone to the clandestine government UFO thing, there'd have been a genuine UFO whistleblower right now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now, and that's what I'm confused with. And then the reason I don't trust Lou Elizondo is because if there was anything remotely dangerous about what he was saying, he'd have been Kennedy'd fucking ages ago.
But he hasn't said anything yet.
No,
that's the thing.
That's what I mean. But if there was anything remotely dangerous about him, Lou would have had a terrible accident with his brakes, or committed suicide by shooting himself twice in the back of the head.
Yeah.
But what if they can't do that now? What if? And
they
thank
can.
you, Mr. D.
Of course they can do it.
I know they can. Thank you, Mr. DB Cooper, for the super chat. And it's just, I still like to dabble with the UFO videos. They're just not long enough for my liking on. But
if you think they can't get rid of people, it was only a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, that a whole family, including 2 children, drowned in a 3-foot pool because said wife was going to try and take an ex-president's wife to court. Whole family.
Yeah,
3 foot.
Probably need to be careful with that one.
But that's why I'm not putting the names. But it's nobody cared.
What I'm saying there, that if somebody like Lou puts that information out, and all of a sudden something happens, that would back up that information even more. If he's made to look like, and I know, Rich, you think that Lou is 100% a government guy. He's literally being told what to say, and he's plugging it to the UFO community. You think that? What if he's not, but he knows he can't be taken out? He knows that he can't be stopped because it would just only back up what he's doing. Or what if they
he
actually
would be a martyr? is what you're saying.
Almost, but at the same time, they know that people like you, me, will be calling him a government shill. They know that's what's gonna. That they think. Just leave it, because these guys are gonna do our work for us.
Yeah, I hear you. Just
Have you ever
ignore
thought-
it. Yeah, of course. And that makes sense. But don't you think that they're the ones that put this in motion for Lou to do what he's doing?
Agreed.
I think so. So of course, if they're the ones, why would they want to take him out if they just let him do what he's doing? But the thing is, Lou doesn't give us any information. And for Graham out there, who said that China, it's all BS, it's all talk about them having the technology. They're socialists, and they want to take over the world. So they will use this technology that I've been saying they have against us and everybody else. And that's why they don't give it to their community. What are they going to do? Give a weapon to people? We talked about this before on your show. That's why the stuff can't get out to the public, because what if some smart guy like a Bob Lazar wants to weaponize it? And, they can send a nuke or a weapon anywhere in the world in 4 minutes. So that's why. It's pretty weird. I mean, I could be all wrong too, though. But I try to think what makes the most sense. Ollie, what makes the most sense to you? That there's aliens here and they're controlling everything we do, and they're eventually going to help us out with technology and medicine? I mean, why haven't they helped out? Well, they can't interject in the human evolution. Oh, come on. Maybe it's part of it. Maybe we're supposed, if they're here already, aren't we supposed to interact? I don't know, man.
The only way that works out is if it's time travel, because you wouldn't want to get involved in your own history.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that works.
I can't believe Mr. DB Cooper's paying me to say that you're his favorite guy on YouTube. Thank you, Mr. DB Cooper.
That's funny. No, he says when it comes to video breakdowns.
No. I just wanted to make it dramatic. No, I love Mr. DB Cooper. You are a good man and a great support of the community. No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Lee. It's all of it's odd. Going back to what I believe. I can't tell you what I believe. If I told you what I actually believe, I would probably lose half my. Well, no, because I don't think a lot of them watch anymore. But I would lose.
You wouldn't.
I'd lose. Okay.
You certainly wouldn't be monetized.
No, I wouldn't. So I'm not religious at all. I do think there's something. Probably, I think we may be special. I'm definitely special.
I am too.
Do you know? Do you ever get the feeling though that maybe, that little bit of specialness that we and as people that have been massive, Rich is gone. He's had enough.
He's gone for a special moment.
Do you know what I'm saying, Lee? Though.
Yeah, I also don't.
You were an atheist.
I don't think I've ever been an atheist.
I have.
I'd always say I've been. Is agnostic the one where you want it to be real but you don't think it is? I think it is. I'd probably put myself in that basket, but I think, again, like working in word salad here, because there's stuff you can't say. I think that there's people out there that are in control of us, be it politicians that are and rich, very rich, old money families. I think they believe something, and if it's like that, Warren Buffett. There's a great quote from Warren Buffett when he was asked about what was the quote? Someone said something to him about astrology and how it was ridiculous, and he said, "You only," he said, "Sorry, millionaires don't believe in astrology. Billionaires believe in astrology," and I thought it was a great quote because these people clearly they clearly believe in something that we don't believe in anymore. And is that some sort of arcane magic that these people can wield to get to that ends to great money and power? It certainly looks that way.
So obviously we're talking in code here. So these people that have, the big pockets.
Yeah.
I've got champagne taste with pint of lager pockets.
Yeah.
But these people, they've got the champagne. But I know what you're saying. They seem to be in the company, and when you see some of the symbolism they use, they seem to know what's going down. When it comes to the ancients, when it comes to the things that people believe in. I came back the other day to a star on my door.
Speaking of stars,
here's a star. John says, "How can I be an atheist but believe in UFOs?" I think that's the opposite.
I'd have thought so. If you look at UFOs as in what we used to believe UFOs were, I mean, the whole idea of UFOs being kept undercover and not saying it's aliens was to protect religion. Even Winston Churchill had that in a letter, didn't he, during the Second World War, when they were seeing the Foo Fighters, that they couldn't. Was it that? Now
there's a good one though.
That came out. Was that 40 years? 40 years he put on it.
Lee, that's a good one. The Foo Fighters, though, because there was definitely things that these pilots saw.
Color and the shape was good, but I don't like the new stuff.
You're agnostic, Ali.
Say that again, Rich.
You're an agnostic.
No, it's dyslexic, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Break that down for me, Rich. What's that mean?
An agnostic person is somebody who believes something is out there, but it's not the traditional God.
Okay.
I think so. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, that's me to a T then.
Yeah.
That's narrowed me down to a fine-tooth comb.
It's a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God or anything beyond material phenomena. It's a person who claims neither faith nor disbelief in God. So that's it. I was right. You believe in something, but not traditionally.
I don't believe in God.
Well, it's a view that the existence of God or the supernatural is not known or knowable with any certainty. So if the question is, does God exist? Yes would imply. No would imply atheism. Oh, maybe you're an atheist. And I'm not sure would imply agnosticism. So you're an agnostic. I was right. You're not sure.
The thing is, and this is to the people of the community, they have no idea how important this is to the subject of ufology. They have no idea how important it is, because something is being covered up for some reason or another. And I think it goes back to that old religion. Okay,
Bible, demons, and all that stuff.
I think if you are boots on the ground researcher, I think some of the big guys, they need to start looking into this and find out what the hell's going on. Because wait a
minute, because Greer looks into it, and we don't like him for it, right?
Does he?
Or is it spirituality he looks into?
Wait, what? You both were talking.
Sorry, I would say Greer more dips his toe into spirituality, not religion.
Okay, yeah. But I was going with what Alien Addict said. People should dip more into it. You're thinking then more religion? Lee, is that what...
I really don't know. But I do think we need to crack the subject open so there's more options to it. The only problem I have with Greer, because like, I mean, I remember like the Disclosure Project early days and stuff like that. The only problem I have with Greer is maybe there was a change. Maybe as when he did the Disclosure Project and it didn't gain enough ground. Maybe he thought, "Fuck it, I've got this platform now, and I'm gonna keep speaking whatever his truth is, but I'm gonna make money out of it." No, and I can accept that, but I think there's more chance that he was on the level at some point.
But he's always been the way he is, believe it or not. Now that I've gotten to see a different side of him, I think he's always been this way. And if you look back in all the stuff, even before the Disclosure Project, he was having sightings and talking to aliens.
Yeah.
It's consciousness. Yeah, Rich Northwood. Thanks for that. That's what Greer's into, consciousness.
I always smell a rat with him. I always smell a rat with him. That's the problem.
It's because he wants £3,000 off you to sit in a desert with him. That's why.
I want to believe him when especially when he cries. You know, it always pulls my heartstrings. It's like my dad crying. I'd never seen my dad cry, but Greer cries quite often now. You know, he's cried in about 3 of his documentaries, but you can tell it looks sincere.
If he's cried in 3 of his documentaries, that would suggest to me that he's really good at pretending to cry.
It's amazing if that's a fake cry.
I didn't think the crying at the end of the last documentary was genuine.
It was a sob.
I thought it was real, yeah. I could cry right now. I could cry, and you would think it was real. No, I'm not doing it. It'll ruin I'll be all snotty and everything for later. But it's not that hard. It'll
change his tough guy image as well.
So Lee, I'm with Rich with this. That looked like that was a real emotional breakdown, especially on the last documentary when I've forgotten her name.
The one who talked to
said what you've done. Dr. Greer, for this is I blah 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 blah. I'm working with you, and he just like starts sobbing. It doesn't look acted at all. If that's acting, that's A-star acting. I'll give him that.
He's passionate about it, and I don't know if he. I mean, do you really believe that he consciously knows he's lying to people, or do you really believe he thinks he talks to aliens?
I think he is the
Antichrist,
evangelical preacher of the UFO community. I think that's where he is. I think it's his travel and circus, and I think his documentaries and his taking people out into the desert are him placing hands on heads and healing them.
He's never healed anybody.
No, I know he's not healed, but you know, it's his metaphorical interaction with people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I was at one of the CE5 presentations he did during almost like the end of the COVID peak.
You said he was a lovely guy. Said he was a lovely guy.
He's a really nice guy, and Third Phase of Moon interviewed him for the Above Top Secret documentary, where you'll see a different Greer than you've ever seen, and it's amazing. What a different side. I mean, I really felt for this guy.
I know, you messaged me straight away after and said, "Wow, what a great guy."
And when I was at that the CE5 thing, D.E. Cooper just throwing him down a $10 one. Madonna mia.
I appreciate everybody tonight in the chat and the thumbs up and everything. It's been fantastic. I love you all.
But there were no children around there. These are all people like 35 to 55 or even 75. They're all like, I mean, I saw the people there. I mean, these are rich. Some of them are rich. Some of them are regular people, but it's amazing. All walks of life want to believe in something, and that's what Greer does. And if you're an adult, you have the right to do whatever it is you want with your money. If you want to believe in somebody like Greer, why am I mad at him? Well, because it puts this, image on ufology that a lot of people really know is BS. Nobody's talking to aliens.
Here's the thing, though, Rich. With that, and I see some of the newcomers, and I consider myself a newcomer with this, but I consider some of the people that are coming into this field that will throw sticks Greer's way. There's no mention of what he did to start off with.
I know.
Prior to the 11-9, however I want to say that without getting into trouble.
Oh, you can say it. A lot of people say it.
Well, prior to that event, Greer was doing some pretty amazing work. And then it went extremely quiet, obviously for many reasons. And then the next thing I know he's doing, and I could be wrong here, he may have done a few things leading up to that, but the next big thing seemed to be Sirius.
Yeah.
Wrong with it? Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And that was many years after. Mm-hmm. Many years. And it's only... And again, going back to what I think even Lee was on board was it beginning of this year when Greer put that first advertisement out to what he was going to do with this alien threat, and he was going to expose it all. I had a Greer bonk on,
Yeah.
I agree. I was excited.
It's his best performance to date.
And then he fucked it up when we saw the documentary.
Yeah.
Serious? That one?
No, when he put the YouTube documentary out a few months ago.
Oh, Cosmic Hoax?
Yeah, and I had so much expectations for that. I thought you're going to show us something here. I thought he's actually going to expose and whistleblow on loads of people.
I know.
Yeah, I did. I thought that's why he was put out on. He was put out for free, without it being on an publisher. I thought that's why he was doing it, because doing it that way, he could put it out on loads of different platforms. So if it got pulled from YouTube, it'd still be on BitChute and all the rest of them, and it was nothing.
Out of all the big players, he's the one that I want to believe, because I have like this. I like him. He's got that likability. He's like an uncle with big hands that you don't want to get too close to because of his big hands. But he seems like a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy.
But all cult leaders do, though.
Yeah.
That's.
But it's.
No, but he's got. It's wrong to call it a cult, but he does have that same charisma that you see in those type of people.
I don't know. I seen a different guy now, but.
Well, you've met him personally. I'm talking about what I see on the television.
No, I know. I know what it looks like.
What do you see, Rich? What do you see now? Now, forget the interview. Put the interview. I know you've had the interview, but.
I didn't really talk to him now. I just watched him. I didn't really. I interacted with him for just moments. It wasn't like we had a conversation.
What do you see now?
I don't know. Well, I saw the new documentary, most of it, so I know that changed my perspective on him a little bit. Because what he says kind of brings everything to a head. You understand?
Yeah, of course.
So I can't talk about it, but you'll see it in February. But he's just a guy who is trying his hardest to really bring disclosure to the world, and CE5 just got wrapped up, I think, as a money scheme or something,
But do you think he is in it for the good?
There's been a lot of problems with him that I still haven't forgotten, even though I've seen a different side. But I think he's in it for the right reasons. But he does a lot of things that... Why? Why does it have to make everything he did before silly?
Yes.
It ruins everything. Which is why that CE5 talk isn't even in the next documentary, except for just a mention of it. He doesn't get into it at all, which is nice. Because then you get to see what he's really doing, in my opinion.
I want to see him deliver. I want to see him do it.
You'll see it.
quick
Oh,
plug.
I want to see him deliver. Yeah, that would be nice. But
quick plug: if anyone wants to go and watch the what was the Cosmic Hoax documentary on my YouTube channel, I did a reaction video to the whole thing with my friend Susie, and Susie is the person to watch that with because it was fucking hilarious.
She doesn't believe in aliens, does she?
She doesn't believe in aliens. She doesn't believe in anything. She barely believes in herself, and she was, hands down, one of the funniest people I've ever spoken to. As soon as it got into the app part of it, the fact that I've just sat here for an hour and a half to watch somebody's fucking app commercial.
Is that what she said? And that's somebody
tears.
she's not even into. Oh, I haven't watched it. I
Had
need to
me
watch
in
it later.
tears.
it wasn't that bad.
But yeah,
I gotta get going, man.
No, Rich, I'm ending the show anyway. It's gone 2 hours,
okay.
and I've got work early in the morning. What, Rich? What's going on GUFON tonight?
I got it. Well, I can't remember. I put the show. Oh, it's about Russia. Possibly, there's proof that they have a base on the moon, and then I'm going to show
this. I saw this.
It's an interesting story, and then I'm going to talk about how the Americans may have a base on the moon. So it's kind of an
China.
In yes, even vagina. So yeah, that'll be tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. And then tomorrow we do the UK, Saturday in the UK show at, 9 p.m. your time.
Which is why I have to avoid doing Saturday shows now, Rich.
What? Really?
I would try. No, I never do a Saturday show because, I might get lucky with the missus.
Gotcha.
It's
worth it.
You never know. I've been waiting like 3 years now, but
she might fall asleep in time.
it could happen.
Oh.
Ooh, sticky. And Lee, what's going on? What's going on with your bald head?
Just come and listen to
Shall
the
love.
podcasts. Come and listen to podcasts. Go look for Must See Audio and all of the podcast platforms. Sub to it. Download it. You don't even have to listen to it. If you just download it, it counts as a download. That's all I want is numbers.
What a sellout. I loved your last show. Speaking about your bald head for the past half an hour, that was...
I enjoy doing This Is Cheaper Than Therapy.
It's my favorite.
Therapy.
It's good. It's a good listen. It's a good listen, mate.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Go check it out, people. Guys, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. This platform, Alien Addict, has gone through such a journey from the last 5 or 6 years? I don't know how long I've been doing it now, but it's gone from Mars and Moon anomalies to debunking every Tom, Dick, and Harry to just talking absolute codswallop. But I have so much pleasure speaking with you people and just conversing with the community. Do you know what? I think I'll be an old man doing this and I'll still have no answers whatsoever. So I bid you good evening and I want to say good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. Check out the links below to my friends, my people, and I do have a Patreon page if you want to support the channel. See, I told you I'd say it's wife. She watches me. She looks at me and says, "You best not be doing this for nothing, bastard." Right, good night, God bless people. Mind the bugs don't bite. I'm Alien Addict, Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio, and Lee Stevens from Must See Audio. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.